Good morning, everybody. Today is September 9th. This is Dr. Vuong, the best effing dad, with your quick COVID update. The numbers are bad. 184,000 cases yesterday. Goes to show we have a lot of cases right now, and it's not good. Some people go, cases don't matter. It's deaths that matter. Dude, what do you think leads to deaths? You don't get deaths unless you have cases. I use this analogy, like the number of cases is like your speedometer. How fast are you going in the car? You want to know, because if you're going to wreck your car, there's a big difference between 10 miles an hour and 100 miles an hour. And right now we're heading 100 miles an hour towards a car wreck. You can see this Delta variant heading up towards the northeast. You know, today West Virginia made the news for COVID. I mean, that's not good if you're West Virginia. The hottest spot, you know, it's gone from the deep south, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and the current hottest spot is Tennessee, which is kind of the mid-America, and West Virginia. You can see it heading up towards New Jersey, which is the most populated, densely populated state. And remember, with a vaccination rate of a little bit over 53%, you know, that's still a lot of lungs. There's something roughly like 90 million Americans who qualify for the vaccine who are not vaccinated, okay? 90 million. That's 90 million lungs, sets of lungs that this Delta variant can hit. And so it's very easy to see how 180,000 cases can become 200,000, 250,000 and still burn through. But the funny thing is, the anti-vaxxers are saying, hey, Dr. V, if the vaccine is so great, then why are cases going up? And I'm like, you moron? Do you not understand there are still 90, 100 million more people that are not vaccinated? I mean, who does not understand this? And that doesn't count the 12 and under. You know, there's probably another 40 million 12 and under. So now you add that together, you're talking 130 million Americans. And that's just America, you know. World Health Organization yesterday put out a request that no rich countries do booster shots until every country gets 10% vaccination rates. And, you know, I don't think that's going to happen. So today, Biden is expected to do a new talk, a new speech on a plan on this surge. And I fully expect him to give mandates. And, you know, he'll be able to give federal mandates, and he'll be able to I think call out some of these ridiculous governors who are putting politics ahead of science. Now, this is a public health issue, guys. This is because it's a public health issue. That means we have to follow like the science and doctor recommendations and CDC and what these big studies show. By the way, I'm so tired of talking about Ivermectin. There are no large randomized controlled trials that demonstrate the effectiveness of Ivermectin against COVID. Of course, Ivermectin's been around for a long time. Of course, we use it to treat parasites and stuff like that in humans because it's been proven effective. But if you have a tapeworm, I'll give you Ivermectin. If you have COVID, I'll give you monoclonal antibodies and oxygen and support. You know, I don't understand where people go, Ivermectin's been around for 20 years. You're taking a vaccine that was rushed through. Like, no, first of all, it wasn't rushed through. You know, an unproven vaccine. Like, what are you talking about? We have large studies showing the effectiveness of vaccines, and we have 95% of people in hospitals that are unvaccinated. What more proof do you need? Like, proof? And I don't know why they argue when I sit there and go, there are no large randomized controlled trials with Ivermectin. One is currently ongoing right now in Oxford. And it's going to be 6 months or more before we see that come out, you know, the early rollout. Speaking of large studies, there was a very large study of like 300,000 people. That's what a study is. It's not you know somebody or you knew somebody who knew somebody. Dude, that's not a study. Your observational data means jack shit. It's nothing, okay? So there is a large study that it's pre-published, so it's awaiting on peer review, which basically demonstrates the effectiveness of masks in 300,000 people in India. That they passed out masks, simple masks, and showed that it worked really, really well. You know, so I don't know. let's just put that to rest. But anyway, I think Biden today will come out and he'll give some vaccination mandates for federal employees and federal organizations and all sorts of stuff. And that's really intended to set a precedent for other companies and businesses to start mandating vaccinations. And you guys are going to see this. I mean, this is the world we live in, you know. No one cares your stance on vaccinations. Like, and no one's begging you. Or like people are like, stop begging me to take the vaccination. Dude, you're going to be in the hospital. I don't know what to tell you. The more people that get vaccinated, of course you'll have 5% breakthrough infections. But the more people who get vaccinated, the ones that are left are going to be the unvaccinated. So they're going to be the ones that are literally left out in the cold. And this is ahead of the fall surge. This is just the start, guys. This is just the start of this surge. I'm telling you, I am begging you. You know, you can see what happened Labor Day weekend. Okay, we just had Labor Day here in the United States. And the airline travel data shows that it was the same as 2019 pre-pandemic numbers. We're in the middle of a surge, and it's a minor holiday, a Labor Day, and we were back to pre-pandemic numbers for airline travel. What do you think is going to happen when Thanksgiving and Christmas comes around? Do you I'm hopeful that people are going to stay their asses home, but they're not. So this surge, even if it plateaus around 150, 160, 170,000 cases, you know it's going to go right back up. All you got to see is look at the UK data. You know, UK is already back up to an average of 38,000 cases a day. Who remembers when I was like, dude, UK went from 40,000 down to 27, and everyone was saying it's disappeared? I'm like, it's at 27,000. That's not a big drop. And now it's back up to 38,000. It is back up to almost where the Delta surge was of the beginning of summer. And that's the average, because they have 40, 45,000 case days all the time now. Just like we have 180,000 184,000 cases yesterday. Anyway, guys, this is going to get a lot worse. We need mandates because people just, I don't get it. I mean, people cannot think logically or critically. No one's taking away your rights. Like, this is bizarre to me. Like, you've got this marvel of modern technology and medical science that gives you this cure, this treatment, you know, this protection against this virus, and you'd rather trust like an unproven off-label use of some medicine, right? Oh, Dr. V, I know this doctor, and he prescribes Ivermectin plus other supplements and other. Well, that's not a study, okay? That does not prove anything. I mean, that doctor, what did he prescribe you? Ivermectin, prednisone, breathing treatments, vitamin D, zinc, you know, hydroxychloroquine. So basically, you don't know what worked. He could have prescribed a feather. He could have told you to put a special, you know, tail feather from a specific type of rooster underneath your pillow, and we'd have the same chance of working. You don't know what worked. That's not a study. Dude, it could have been, there was a possibility that you give them nothing and they could get better, which is like a lot of their argument. A lot of people who don't want to get vaccinated, they'll say, hey, this is all survivable, so I don't need this vaccination. Then why do you get treated? Then why are you trying to promote ivermectin? No, oh, no, I mean, you can use it as a preventative. What about using it as a preventative? Like, why don't you walk with a dime in your shoe? Like, I don't know what to tell you. What's the old one? Like Vicks Why don't you put some Vicks Vapor Rub on the bottom of your feet? That might work. You know, it's bizarre to me, guys. That's not how science works. And the more that people talk about stuff like that, the more that people get on my fan page and start typing things like that, the more you realize, like, oh my God, we are in fucking trouble. This is like, people cannot think straight. They're emotional, don't listen to science, barely pass science class. You know, it's bizarre to me. Somebody commented that like RNA is not in cells, and so therefore RNA is created in a lab and injected into a virus. I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with you? you know. It's just bizarre. Anyway, Dr. V with another rant, I guess. I'll see you again tomorrow.